Go ahead.
Deep. That's deep too.
We got time. It's your time. Go ahead.
Man, we started out with we started out actually cutting an album that was, put it this way, we stepped into one of those situations with a label to where we were actually artistically controlled. So the material that we were doing was not material that really, nurtured our spirit. It wasn't material that we could dub as hot or as, it's us. I mean, even our image at the time, it wasn't us. So what ended up happening is, and I forget, what chronologically how it transpired, but what it ended up happening was we gained artistic control of our project. And at that point, it was basically a 50-50. Me and Tim, produced, the album 50-50. I did half of it, he did half of it, and then, of course, Playa as a whole wrote the album. And, there it was.
And it basically blew up, became big. Cheers to You, big single for you guys. Now explain to me when that record took off.
That record took off in, I believe, February of '94, because Don't Stop the Music came out, I think, in August of not '94, '98, because Don't Stop the Music came out in August of '97, and Cheers to You, the single, was released in February of '98, and the album was released in March of '98. And from Don't Stop the Music all the way to Cheers to You, we had the most requested song or video on BET. It was playing like crazy. Our fan base totally exceeds in abundance our actual sales. But you got to keep in mind, right when we came out was right around the time that you had certain things like Napster. So, being able to go online and download songs for free or for 99 cents or whatever the case may be, that was really cutting into, our sales as artists. And with us being new artists and nobody knowing whether or not to, buy this album because of this one song, and they end up buying the album and that's the only song they like, they would rather buy or go and download just that song. So it cut into really every artist's sales at that time. Around that time it was like downloading was cutting into, I know, at least like 35-40% of sales.
Yeah, that was definitely the double click heard around the world.
Right, that was ripping us.
Yes, it was. Now, you were explaining, like, during the making of the record that you guys had, artistic struggles with the labels. Now, is it that labels, they want somebody that's green and naive to the business and let them program them, like, okay, you're going to wear this, you're going to sing this, we're going to hook you up with these writers, these producers, boom, bam, bip, don't say nothing, let us take care of the rest?
Well, it probably depends on who you deal with, though. Because to each his own. But like nowadays, and it didn't seem to be that way back then. It was just that when we walked into that situation, they had someone that they really trusted, because it's all political. So regardless whether you whack or not, if you got a plaque, you know what I'm saying, regardless whether you whack, you're gonna be in control. You the man, because you have proof and evidence that you are some sort of asset, you know what I'm saying, or a good investment. So when we walked into that situation, someone totally took over the project, and we were boxed. What we could say in Louisville, we was boxed out, couldn't do nothing.
Right.
But nowadays, it ain't about none of that. It's just all about you have to accrue enough revenue and accrue enough attention and traffic your way in order for a label to say, okay, maybe he's worth fooling with. Let's go on and basically cut into his money, put some money on it, and make more money, and boot. But that works better though. It's harder for an artist, but it works better in the event that you get signed, because when you walk up to a label, or a label walks up to you, you can say, what are you talking about? I'm not doing what you say do, per se. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this by myself. You coming to me trying to mess with me. I really don't need you.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I'm saying? Either we going to do it like it's 50-50 joint venture, like Pretty Ricky did, or, kill yourself. Get on up through her.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely that. Especially seeing, Soulja Boy definitely took that route. Had the YouTube and MySpace popping off, and because of that, Mr. Collar Park saw the reaction and signed him.
Yep, see? And you can best believe he's not being controlled.
So basically, he built his own brand from the ground up.
Exactly.
Right. Now, what was it like working with the late Aaliyah?
Oh, man. Beautiful. I mean, it's just, I work with a lot of artists, it's, well-known as well as people you don't know, independent artists or whatever. I worked with a lot of people, but she was just real easy. You know what I mean? To work with, just real pleasant. Not only cooler than a fan and a pleasant, peaceful, real and true person, but it was just very, easy breezy to work with, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, we were, sisters and brothers anyway, you know what I'm saying? But, still, even if that wasn't the case, just easy breezy, man.
Yeah, definitely that. And I know myself and everybody else was shocked when she passed away uncertainly in that plane crash. And of course, that her album came out, and she was definitely about the head for pop success. And then it was just tragically cut short.
Man, telling you.
Yeah.
But she's. I look at it like she's extremely successful now.
Yes, she is.
You know what I'm talking about?
Bet she is. Now, with Timbaland now working with Justin Timberlake, how you feel about that? Timbaland is basically, doing his thing on the pop tip with Justin, who he single-handedly basically shattered Justin's boy band image with NSYNC and made him a bona fide pop R&B superstar.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's that man. He can do that. I mean, it's just as simple as that. That boy can do that. Because, I mean, really, his sound, that's the thing about his sound. His sound is actually, his sound actually goes both ways. It can be hip-hop, it could be rap, it could be crunk. He can hit him off with that neo-soul. He can, go soul. I mean, his beats, he can cater to almost any genre.
So he's musically diverse.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely versatile.
Now, explain to me after the Cheers to You album, what went on after that?
Well, after the Cheers to You album, we ended up going back in the studio, after enduring touring. And we pretty much cut, not something that we would dub an album because of how critical and biased of even ourselves that we are, but, we ended up cutting a lot of records. For a second LP, and everybody just ended up eventually saying, let's go towards, everybody go towards a solo route, because Def Jam ended up, Snoop Dogging us. They dropped it like it's hot. Because they listened to our album and said, we don't get it. And it was like, you don't get it. Which, we made mistakes. They made mistakes too, during the Cheers to You album. I don't never try to make it, when mistakes are made, I don't never try to make it one-sided. But I do look at it a little bit, and I'm pretty sure I could speak for the other two, that it was kind of a blessing too. Because, we wanted to, check out other ventures or whatnot. You know what I mean? But everybody ended up doing their, working on their solo projects. Everybody's got their own label and artists, they're trying to div off into that. So, yeah, that's where everybody's focus and motivation is right now.
Okay. And now, Barry Michael Cooper, journalist for The Village Voice, who coined the term New Jack Swing, gave you guys ultimate kudos, saying that your Cheers to You album is like one of his favorites, and that you guys were very slept on.
Oh, wow.
And the album, too. A lot of people have said that Playa is very underrated, and basically the album is slept on.
Oh, yeah. I get it all the time. Like, I mean, in every state and city, I walk somewhere, like I was in Atlanta one time for the All-Star weekend, just walking through the mall, and a chick stopped me and just touched me on my shoulder, and I looked over at her, and she said, "Classic album." You know what I'm saying? I mean, the people like really like still to this day. I mean, even still to this day, somebody will add me or I'll add somebody on MySpace, and they'll say, "Man, I was just talking about y'all yesterday," or "I'm sitting there listening to Cheers to You right now," or something like that. I mean, it's really still like a classic cold album to everybody. That's why I said our fan base is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Especially compared to, ourselves. I mean, the fan base is like bananas.
Right, and that's definitely a blessing too, because the album came out in what, 97?
No, the album came out in March of 98.
98, so it's about to be 10 years, since that record dropped, and it's still holding up. Now, explain to me your solo album that you got coming out in the works.